Hi, I'm Murray and welcome to the YSE Cookery School's online foundation course introduction video. If you've joined us for the journey already, then welcome. I hope the next 10 modules will be as enjoyable as they are educational. And if you're watching this introduction video on YouTube, then you can access the full introduction module on our website for free by creating yourself an account and adding the course to your dashboard. Now, this foundation course is an intensive 10-day course that will transform your cooking regardless of the level that you're already at and turn you into a better cook. You can work at your own pace and in your own place, which I see as a big advantage over a live course. And in my experience, it takes our students to a much higher level in a short space of time. Now, this introduction video is going to give you an idea of how the course runs and what to expect from it once you've signed up. This course is suitable for anyone with a decent interest in cooking, whether you're hoping to earn money from your new skills or whether you're simply a keen home cook that's looking to sharpen up your skills in the kitchen. And because you can work at your own pace and in your own space, the course can kind of flex itself around what you're hoping to achieve. It's 10 full days of cooking, and they're really busy days because it's geared around people that ultimately want to cook for a living. So these days are a realistic example of what to expect if you're working in a private chefing role, be it a boat or a villa or private catering in somebody's house, etc. It's also beneficial for people that want to move into the hospitality in some other way, like a restaurant or a catering company. Because this foundation course teaches you to cook from the ground up, and because you'll have direct access to my experience as we go along, we can sort of tailor the feedback so that it's relevant for your goals. This course is based on my 15 years experience as a cookery tutor. I've worked for cookery schools and run dozens of different live courses throughout my career. And there are a few aspects of our online course that vary slightly from a live course, but I'm convinced that it makes the learning experience much more rewarding. Usually on a live course, be it ours or any other schools, you might sort of start in the morning with a theory session and then maybe make a couple of dishes in the morning before having a break. In the afternoon, it's more of a communal effort, sort of cooking towards a dinner party style menu. The theory and demonstration sessions take a little bit longer, but on the whole, there's a little bit less cooking per student. On a live course, you're generally given a tray full of ingredients, and the ingredients are all weighed out and ready to go. But on this course, you have to do your own shopping and organise yourself for the food. Now, I see that as quite an advantage, especially if you're hoping to get into cooking as a profession, because about 80% of being a good cook is all about organisation. So it's good to have done that right from the start. Now, the other thing that's not going to happen at your place is I'm not going to come around and do the washing up. Okay, so you'll have to take care of that as well. But again, it's an important step in becoming a good cook and creating some good key habits right from the start. If you have a clean kitchen, you have a clean mind, and the food that goes out to your guests will be nice and clean as well. So how does the foundation course work? Well, after this introduction module, it's made up of 10 more modules, each taking one whole day to work through. So the idea is you start in the morning with an introduction video to the module from me. I'll run you through what's going to happen for the day, some information on relevant ingredients or techniques, and general information about the menu. And that can take sort of anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. Then each of the recipes that you're going to make will have a demonstration video for you to watch. Now, these videos are edited down, so they're much quicker to watch than a live demonstration, where usually you lose loads of time waiting for me to chop onions or herbs or watch water to boil, etc. So these clips are usually 5, at the most 10 minutes. So you get a really good, clear idea of what you're trying to achieve from the dish. And you can always come back later on and watch these clips again if you've forgotten something or you just like to see it again. Okay, and that's something that you can't have on a live course. So all in all, you're looking about sort of 45 minutes of theory in the morning and getting organised for the day, and then straight into the cooking. The morning is usually quite preparation heavy as you prepare some of the elements for your 3-course evening meal. And then you cook your own lunch. Now, depending on how you're getting on with the morning, you should have some time to take a break in the afternoon and then come back into the kitchen and then finish off the evening meal. Now, it's a good idea, especially if you're trying to gain some experience for a cooking job, to set yourself some time goals. Now, I've laid out some time plans, right down to the minute for each module on how I think that the day should run and where you should be at. And I've set dinner time at 7 o'clock. Now you can obviously adjust that time to whatever time you like, but either way, make a time and try and stick to it. And it's really important to do this. It's a really important habit to form. I'd also recommend inviting some friends or some family to the evening meals if possible, because it's really good to add a little bit of pressure, especially if you're looking for that sort of real life experience. There are shopping lists for each module in the form of an Excel sheet that you can download and use the filter function on to write the shopping list for the specific days that you're working on. Now you should be aiming to leave a whole day for cooking, so you need to be organised beforehand with all the shopping and everything done before you start. Clear your schedule, get up at a reasonable time in the morning, sit down, have a coffee, watch the theory clips, and then crack on straight into it. There should be time to take a break in the afternoon, but I think it's a good idea to get started and get on with the preparation as early as you can in case you run out of time later on the day. It's completely up to you how you attack this course. You might want to do it as a block and say I've got 2 weeks holiday and I'm going to go straight into it and do each day in quick succession. Maybe have a weekend in the middle or something like that. Or you might decide to do 1 or 2 modules every week and spread it out over 5 or 10 weeks. It really doesn't matter, it's as you like. That's one of the beauties of an online course. Now if you're going to tackle this course as a block, past students have found that it's quite a good idea to do 2 or 3 days cooking and then have a day off to reflect on the last few days, go shopping and plan the next 2 or 3 days cooking. Each of the 10 modules are self-contained into a day's cooking, so you can really pick it up and put it down as you like. So it can work around your schedule or even avoid having to take time off, etc. You'll have 120 days access to the course. Now I like to break learning to cook down into 3 parts and often refer to them as the 3 fundamentals of learning to cook. The first is what I call the reoccurring principles of cookery, and that's a big part of the structure of this course and learning to cook generally. It's the idea that all you need to do is understand a surprisingly small number of principles to learn to cook. Okay, now these principles reoccur all of the time in all of the cooking that you're likely to undertake in the future. So we'll be taking you through 30 principles over the next 10 modules. We'll use 60 dishes to demonstrate these 30 principles, and that will cover about 90% of the cooking that you'll do in the future. Unless you specialize in a specific area, generally speaking, most of what you cook in the future will stem back to these 30 principles, these 30 reoccurring principles of cookery. So it's not about trying to learn and memorize 300 or 400 recipes to become a good cook. It's about understanding the root of what the recipe is asking you to do and applying it to the food that you've got on hand. Which leads me to the second fundamental of learning to cook. Ingredients. We're going to be taking a look at some ingredients that you might not have used before, what to look for when you're shopping for them, and how to use different ingredients to really maximize your cooking. And the third fundamental of learning to cook is what I call the brief. Okay, the brief is what you're actually trying to achieve with the cooking task, and it's really important to take the time to consider this and plan well before you even pick up a knife. Now my brief for this course is to teach you to cook. Your brief is to learn how to cook. When I'm working here in Val d'Isere in the winter in a hotel, my brief is to feed around 45 British guests who are here on an energetic ski holiday, and they all eat at the same time and all from the same menu. If I was working on a boat in the summer, the brief would be different. I'd have slightly less space, I'd have less guests, they'd be on a sort of relaxing style of holiday in the summer, so they'd require lighter food. I'd probably also have less access to consistent suppliers for ingredients, and the menu would probably be decided on the day by the actual guests rather than a menu that I'd written. Maybe you're in a small kitchen, maybe you're in a large kitchen, maybe you've got lots of hands to help you, or maybe you're literally just working by yourself. Maybe you've got someone to help with the washing up, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you've got dietary requirements to consider, gluten-free, dairy-free, and these sorts of things. Maybe you've got big eaters, maybe you've got kids or older people. All of these things kind of dictate the brief, and if you can learn to consider the brief properly before you start, you're already ahead of the game, and you have a much better chance of designing a menu that will give you a great result, the one that you're looking for with as little stress as possible. So those are the three fundamentals of learning to cook, and those are the three elements that really shape this course. If you've purchased the course already, then our printers will be printing your book as we speak and getting it in the post. It usually takes a few days to arrive depending on whereabouts in the world you're based, but during that time there's a few things that need to be done for this introduction module before you can get started on the cooking anyway. Okay, the following lessons in the introduction module will take you through the list of equipment that you need to look at. You actually don't need too much equipment to cook with. There's thousands of gadgets that you can buy that make one job a little bit easier, but generally speaking, my kitchen equipment is quite minimalistic when it comes to excessive kit. You need to make sure your kitchen's organized and ready to go, and you need to take a look at the shopping list and kind of decide how you're going to approach this course and which days you're going to shop on. If you can organize all of that to start with, it takes a lot of pressure off once the cooking actually starts. And the other thing you'll need to do is to make a sourdough starter. Okay, and there's a lesson on that as well. And with all that organized, by the time your book turns up, you'll be able to hit the ground running with this course. If you've chosen to have feedback for each of the 60 dishes that you'll be cooking, you can send me an email after each day's cooking with a few photos of dishes that you'd like feedback for, and we'll respond within maximum 48 hours. Or if you prefer, we can have a quick phone call or Zoom call to discuss the previous module before you start tackling the next. And my feedback will be critical feedback. It'll be useful feedback. I try not to use the word nice too often, because it's not very useful when it comes to learning to cook. I won't be aggressive, but the intention really is to help your cooking. If you'd like to get involved with other students on the course, or if you've got other questions that crop up during the cookery day as it goes along, then on the right hand side of the course plan there's a small button that says discussions. And that discussion relates to the actual lesson that you're working on at the time. So you can post questions or anything on that thread, and anybody else who's doing the course at the same time can either chime in or benefit from your question as well. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a good idea of what the course is about and what's involved. If you've already joined us, then good luck. Remember, it's my job to teach you to cook and your job to transform your cooking. So try and enjoy the next 10 modules. Some of them are intentionally quite busy and a little pressured, but now's the time for gaining that experience and learning from that experience. So if it doesn't go quite as you'd imagined, then it doesn't matter this time round. You'll know what to improve on for next time. And if you're watching this introduction video from our website or from our YouTube channel, remember that you can join the full introduction module and access the course player and everything to see what it's all about for free by creating yourself an account on our website and adding the course to the dashboard. Thanks for watching. See you soon.